Hi, everyone, and welcome into Half Hour Huddle. I'm Aaron Suttles, the Director of Content for Yea Alabama. And Half Hour Huddle, this is the first initial one we're having. It's a live interview series with the best student athletes from the University of Alabama. You cheer them on Saturdays and on the field of competition. This is your opportunity to ask them questions, to get to interact with them, see what their lives are like on and off the field of competition. And today, we couldn't think of a better student athlete to begin with than Dallas Turner, outside linebacker, University of Alabama. He's literally and figuratively one of the biggest student athletes at Alabama. He's writing his own story, taking over that defense that we're expecting a lot from this season, and we're thrilled to welcome in Dallas Turner. Dallas, how are you, man?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Let me first ask you, what's the off season been like for you so far?
The off season is a true grind. And we really like to say the season starts in the off season, and this is where everything is made. This is where you lay your foundation, like for the type of team you're gonna have for the season, and this is where everything is kind of like birthed at to go into the season, basically.
Now, in researching you a little bit, I have found out that you were a basketball player back in the day, and even today, still kind of consider yourself a basketball player. Would you say that you're the best basketball player on the Alabama football team?
Yes, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna go out there and say I'm gonna say yes, but it's a couple guys on the team that can really play ball though. Like guys like Ja'Cory. Me and Ja'Cory used to play basketball growing up, and Kool-Aid a real good basketball player. Like me and Kool-Aid, we played on like the same little travel basketball circuit. It's called EYBL. And Terrion as well. Terrion Arnold can also play basketball.
Now, do you guys go up to the rec and hoop up at all?
Yeah. Over the summer and over times like we don't have like no practice or nothing like that, guys will go to the rec and just get up and down on the court and just play basketball.
Is anybody that has surprised you that you thought maybe didn't have any game that showed you differently?
I have to say, Antonio Kite. We call him Spooty, but Antonio Kite, he kind of surprised me a little bit. But it's also that I remember you'll be surprised how much dudes on the team like actually know how to play basketball and have like an athletic basketball background at first. Because me myself in the 10th grade, I was actually gonna stop playing football to play basketball. But I prayed about it, talked to God about it, and I'm here at the University of Alabama playing football. So
for those who didn't know, we showed a picture a second ago of Dallas and wide receiver Ja'Cory Brooks on the same youth league team. So how long have you known Ja'Cory?
Man, I knew Ja'Cory since about I was in like the 2nd, 3rd grade, and we always knew each other ever since. And it's just so happened we ended up to be at the same school together. So but growing up, playing basketball, I met Ja'Cory and it wasn't football. Like the sport wasn't football. I met Ja'Cory playing a whole different sport, and we ended up where we are now at the University of Alabama playing football. So,
just a reminder for those tuning in, you can comment using the link under the video down below. So if you have some more questions, you can definitely get those in. Talking about Ja'Cory, the South Florida guys on this team really sort of have a brotherhood, a bond.
Yeah.
Obviously, being from the same part of the country, what's that brotherhood like?
I mean, we could just relate to a lot of things. We know how serious football is from where we come from, and we know how deep it is down there too. Football really runs a lot of people's lives down there, and it's very special to a lot of people. And so we just know where that comes from. We hang around the same type of guys in a way, and so it's just clicks. It just clicks. All the Florida guys on the team click with each other. So,
well, you know how nationally Alabama recruits.
Yeah,
bragging rights on the team. Like Florida has the best high school football. No Georgia, no Texas.
Trust me, it's an argument every day. It's an argument every day about this. But me, I argue with a lot of my guys from Alabama about trying to, because they would try and compare Alabama sports and football sports. But I'm in their state, so I can't really talk how I want to talk. But it's an argument every day about which area is better and who has the best high school football. So,
all right, well, we're going to get to some Yea Alabama subscriber questions for you. We had a lot of people that were very excited that you were joining us, and they wanted to ask some questions. So we're going to get to that.
Sounds good.
All right. So Shane wants to know, what was your transition from high school to Bama? Because for those that don't know, you come from a very established high school football program. So was that transition easier for you than maybe some of your other teammates? What was that transition?
I mean, I would say that St. Thomas prepared me a lot for what I would expect in Alabama, but I feel like just like the playing level itself, like it's talent everywhere. And so me coming from the school I went to, it was a lot of talent there already. But like coming here, like it didn't surprise me. So everything that I expected, it kind of happened, and I just had to endure it. But it's always steps to it.
Right.
And so the more you get used to it, the more you get better at it. Really. So.
All right. Jay wants to know, what have you been focused on during the offseason to improve your game?
Everything. It's an all around thing. So I like to get better at everything. It's nothing specifically that I want to focus on, but I would say I've been living in the weight room, on the field, doing a lot of mobility and movement stuff. So I could stay fluid with my movements and just pass rush things as well, and just cleaning up on every little thing I could do. It's nothing specific I can really say.
Yeah. Along those lines, I've been told that Will Anderson sort of wrapped his arm around you when you got to the program. How much did he help you with all this?
Me and Will, we seen each other grow. We also helped each other. But I feel like I'm a guy, like I don't really like to ask for help a lot. So and Will understands that. So me, like I could go to Will about anything. If it's anything that's on the field and off the field, he always gonna be there for me. And so like he did kind of show me the ropes and how things were ran around the facility, and how the program is ran as well. But it's a blessing to have Will though. Yeah, it's definitely a blessing.
Are you passing that down? Are you passing what Will did to you to other players?
Yeah, what I mean? Like just me I have a younger brother and a lot of younger cousins, so like I'm always willing to help somebody. So even guys that are in my grade. So yeah, but the new freshmen and stuff that we got came in. Yeah, I had to hold their hand a little bit, and show them how to do things and show them how to do things. But can't stay in the nest forever. So.
Yeah. All right, Warren asks, as a veteran player and a team leader, what messages would you pass on to the younger players? How do you mentor new players while also continuing to learn and improve yourself?
I feel like the biggest thing that you have to emphasize on, or like the biggest message that you have to emphasize to the young guys that are just coming in, is to just relax and just play football and just make sure you always go hard in whatever you do. And also just look up to a lot of the older guys, because the guys that are here, that have been here the longest, they know the most, and they're the most wisest people in the walk around the facility. And they know how things are ran, and they know how to act accordingly on and off the field. And so I feel like just looking up to the right guy and just asking questions and just building a relationship with the older guy in your room or position room would just be a great thing to do. But more importantly, just make sure you go hard and just be about your business.
We've often heard Nick Saban say that it's sometimes hard for younger players to let a negative play go. They hold on to it, and it affects them going forward.
Yeah.
How difficult is that to do? Because obviously you get to that level, you're sort of a perfectionist. Is it difficult?
Yeah, it's actually very difficult, because I feel like that's something I had to deal with coming in here. Because I would, the freshmen here, they always try and make a good first impression is what I would say. So that's why the term relax and just play football and just let things come naturally and move on from a bad play you had. Because, a guy might have a bad play and he might think about that play for the rest of the practice, and now his head isn't there. So, it's always best to just always have a next play mentality and just keep pushing, just keep going forward no matter what happens. So,
yeah. Reminder again for the subscribers, if you have any more comments, use the link under the video. You can submit those. Let's go to the next question. Brant C wants to know, looking back on where you were in your life when you first arrived in Tuscaloosa, in what way would you say you've had the most significant development as a person?
I feel like maturity. Because, you come into college a kid, really, and then you leave a grown man, if that makes sense. But, I feel like just maturing, like over time, learning from mistakes and not making the same mistakes twice. I feel like that's something I really I really focus on just not making the same mistake twice and just learning from things and just keep pushing. But, I feel like the maturity thing is really that I say was improved a lot. And I didn't even know it. Like my mom had told me one time, like, I guess she just was just listening to how I was talking to her and like how we was just conversating. And then this is like a couple months ago though. So this is recent. So
Yeah.
she was just looking at me and just started smiling. It was just like you growing up so much and stuff, but this is normal to me.
Well, obviously, there's always transition in Alabama. You see guys getting opportunities to go live out their professional dreams to go to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You also see coaches do that when they move on. There's been some coaching turnover this year. I think we got a question about that. Can you talk about Coach Kevin Steele's impact so far on the defense? Have you noticed any differences in approaches to defensive schemes from Golding to Steele?
Yeah, it actually, I wouldn't say like the scheme itself changed. I mean, like I feel like the scheme that we would run more like it's a lot more. It's like it's more simplified if that makes sense. So yeah. It's less mistakes to make. But I feel like having Coach Steele as a DC would be very good for this year because there's a lot of guys on the team that know the ropes already and that know like what needs to be done, how things need to be ran. And Coach Steele has been at Alabama before, and he's known in the coaching business. So, he knows the priorities we stand on as a team, like the goals, how the Bama standard is, the Bama way. And so he just emphasizes that every day. And then he got guys like me and a lot of older guys that try and echo that message to the younger guys and to everybody else in the room, basically. So
yeah, for those that don't know, I mean, if you're just looking at them, Coach Golden and Coach Steele kind of seem personality-wise polar opposites. One's a young guy, long hair, and then you got a sort of a grizzled veteran coach who's been all over the SEC. But talking to people really are drawn to Coach Steele.
Yeah, Coach Steele, he's a real good person. Like to me, he really a country dude from South Carolina. But he's a real good guy though. You always go to him and talk to him. He will make a joke with you, and even off the field, like it's still a relationship there. So I feel like that's something that stands out about Coach Steele on and off the field, and like you could tell he loves his players. Like he enjoyed being around his players because it's always a good time with Coach Steele.
All right, well let's break up the football talk for a second. We talked about your love of basketball, and we talked about your love of being from South Florida. You know where I'm going with this. The Miami Heat are in the NBA Finals. Are you rooting for the Heat?
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna always root for the Heat, but after what I seen the Nuggets do to the Lakers, though, I don't know. But I will be tuned in tonight to watch that game, though, for sure.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite player in the NBA?
LeBron James, of course.
The King.
The King himself.
Yeah.
Even my favorite player since I was around like 8, 9 years old. So.
And he was with the Heat, obviously.
Yeah, he was with the Heat. But I really like I really liked him at the Cavs, really. And then he just moved to the Heat, and then that just made things 10 times better. So
was he your favorite Heat player, or is that?
Yeah, he's probably he definitely. But it's a topic between him and D Wade, of course, because D Wade's a Heat legend. So
what would you mentioned how big of a challenge that the Heat have in front of them with Jokic and
Jamal Murray.
So what would be a successful series for the Heat? You get one game? Can they get two? Can they get to 7 games?
I feel like they gotta jump on them fast, but I feel like the game will definitely go up to a game 7 for sure. Because the one thing about the Heat know how to play well as a team. I will say that. So, but me and my dad, we had this conversation a lot about sports and stuff like that, and so it's always a debate between modern day basketball and basketball back in his day, and so it's always an argument about who he likes and who I like, and so yeah.
So I'm guessing your dad is more. He thinks Jordan is the best of all.
Oh yeah, of course.
You think probably LeBron's the best of all.
Yeah, me and my dad and his little friends, we will argue for at least. We could argue all day about this, and we could pull up stats and all type of stuff, and so we'll just be going at it. But he's gonna take that to the grave that Jordan is the best player to ever.
Well, he didn't let you win the argument.
Nah, he's not. He's never gonna let me win that argument. He's a professional basketball player himself, so he's not. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna go to the questions, and we got one from Ruperto P. Who would you want as a teammate from all the other sports at Alabama? Is there anyone in another sport you think would transition well to football, and who would be the best?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I like Brandon Miller though. I think Brandon Miller would be a pretty good like receiver, tight end. So I know he like 6'8", 6'9", but he moved good up and down the court. So that's all. I see everything, and I'm active at the basketball games too. So
yeah, you think you could take him in a 3-point shooting contest?
I'm always say yes. I'm always say yes, but until that happens and he says otherwise, the answer is yes.
That's the confidence that an athlete of your level has to have in himself, right?
You gotta have it.
Yeah. Jay types in and wants to know, who do you see being leaders on this year's defense?
I see a lot of guys stepping up, like guys like Malachi Moore, Deontay Lawson, Justin DeBoyd. I feel like those names would probably stick out the most.
What did they showed you?
And Kool-Aid and Tyrion.
Now, we talked about confidence. Kool-Aid is a guy that strikes me. I just saw him out at Nick's kids' golf tournament the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Strikes me as a guy that doesn't lack confidence in himself.
Nah, you can't. That's Kool-Aid. That's my guy. That's my guy for sure. But yeah, Kool-Aid, like you're gonna know when he's in the room.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Who's the guy on the team that keeps the locker room good? It keeps it light, because people may not know, like, playing at Alabama is not for everybody. There's going to be some challenging moments, and it's going to be hot, and you're going to be tired. There's usually a couple of guys that keep everybody in a good mindset, sort of glue guys that keep the locker room good. Who's that for this year?
I mean, I feel like the guys who would probably step up to like speak up when things are going left, or when you see everybody's energy not right. You'll probably see guys like me, Ja'Cory Brooks, Deontay Lawson, Malachi Moore. Like you'll probably see guys like that, like talking and saying things, trying to motivate, and Kool-Aid too. Like you're gonna see a lot of guys like us step up, and because we've been there before. Like,
people are looking to you this year because you're going to be, right or wrong, viewed as the leader of this defense. Is that something that your coaches have talked to you about? Is something that you've talked about with your family, or is it just something that have you embraced that role?
I mean, I feel like I kind of had my mind wrapped around it, that it was going to be a time where I was going to have to step up and fill in that role. But, I mean, my coaches talked to me about it in every meeting. And so, I'm just trying to do what I can to my teammates and just better my teammates and better the team as a whole. So anything I could do to help, willing to do it.
All right, well, let's grab another question here. What are the 3 things that Bama football has taught you that has improved who you are as a person?
I feel like being here at Alabama really prepared me mentally and gave me a lot of mental toughness, 1. And 2, me personally, I feel like if I could get through, I wouldn't say survive, but if I could overcome the program and, just deal with everything that they throw at us and, like just challenges and stuff, which build us to the team that we're supposed to be, of course. But I feel like just going through a lot of tough obstacles and a lot of adversity made me kind of the person who I am today as well. So that and just be a brother to my teammates, for real. I just always be there for somebody.
Yeah.
Whether if it's family, friends back home, but like just building the bond with my teammates help that maturity process as well. So
I got to ask you, what's it like being on the field when you're going against a fast-paced offense like Tennessee was last year, like Auburn's been in the past, and they're going as fast as they can? You got to get the call in. You got to make sure everyone's on the same page, and they're not allowing you to substitute. It's 100,000 people are just raining noise down on you. What's it like on the field in those moments?
I mean, a lot of people think it'd be overwhelming, but I feel like if you prepare for that moment and you're mentally focused at the time as well, because mental focus can impact a lot of things. And so I feel like if you're mentally focused and prepared for those moments, that it wouldn't be too bad. It's just like how people make it seem. So,
what do you see in this year's leadership council?
I don't know. It's some guys, but I can't really tell you who now. Like we're not gonna find that out till August, and I can't even tell you because this is week 1, so like this is the guy, like this is the the week where everybody comes together. So like I guess towards the end of the summer, fall camp is when you're really going to see the leaders emerge and separate themselves from regular people on the team.
When a freshman comes in, how soon do the players on the team know? Okay, this guy's going to be a dude, or this guy's going to be able to help us in year one. Are there moments when you can tell that the light comes on for a freshman?
Yeah, you can. You can definitely tell. You automatically tell from the meeting room. So like if you know if a person is on top of their stuff in the meeting room, that means that they're going to be prepared for the field, of course. And so and once them pads come on and you see how physical and how fast a person can play, that shows a lot of things. But even if they do mess up or not, but they're still playing fast and physical, like that shows a lot of sparks that they're going to do something once they develop. And so I feel like little things like that can help.
Yeah. And that's where the trust starts being built between teammates.
Yeah.
I think we got another question along those lines from Shane. What are your thoughts on your position group depth? It's a position Alabama's recruited really well over the years. Obviously, we just saw Will Anderson realize his dreams. We've seen other great players. You seem to be the next guy in line. But that position as a whole, what do you think of the depth?
Yeah, we're kind of deep. So you probably have at least like 7, 8, 9 guys in our room, and that's probably the most we ever had since my freshman year. So that's a lot of guys because over the years, people transfer, people graduate and go on to the NFL. But that's one thing I would say about Alabama. They always reload no matter who leaves. So
yeah, is that, I imagine that helps in between the reps you got to do at practice because you get to go to the end of the line, you don't have to go through another rep as quickly.
Yeah, it kind of sucked last year, but now we got a lot of new freshmen that can take a lot of reps. So practice might be a little breeze, but it's never going to be a breeze.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Well, what are your goals for this season? Are you the type of person where you sit down and you have goals, whether they're metric wise, whether they're just a move you're working on? Do you sit down and say, okay, this is what I want to accomplish this year, or do you just let it play out?
Yeah, I mean, I always have goals daily, but one thing I would say about myself is that if I focus on something too much, other things get less attention, if that makes sense. So that's why me personally, like I have team goals, of course. I have a lot of team goals, but right now I just like to be where my feet are, and I don't like to get my mind too focused on one thing when I should just be where my feet are and just play football. Because when you just play ball and just let things naturally happen, like you can make a lot of plays. So
yeah. What do you think media and fans misunderstand about a position like you play? I mean, obviously we look at a player and we say, okay, he had 2 tackles for loss, he had a sack and a half, but maybe you didn't have as many opportunities to rush the quarterback at that. You have other. How would you explain that to fans and to the media where we're just so looking at stats driven?
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people out there that don't really understand football and how a person doesn't have to have the right stats that you want to see to impact the game, because you don't know like what type of role that person plays in that defense or offense. And so I feel like a lot of guys, like a lot of people in the media and fans and stuff, they don't understand that. They just know what they see.
Right.
If that makes sense. Like they just know what they see and they just going based off like what they're viewing, and instead of actually knowing like how a person can really impact the game without having the right stats. So
yeah, so like sometimes, for instance, you may be asked to drop into coverage.
Yeah.
Cover a guy. How is that skill set coming for you?
I mean, I feel like that's something I had to work on. I had to embrace that role, and so it's just always something to improve. But just adding more tools to the arsenal for real. Like rushing the passer, dropping back, covering guys and stuff. I just like to play football. That's all.
All right, we got a comment from Jay and Brittany Malone. They want to know, who is your favorite Alabama player from a past team?
I got a lot. I ain't gonna lie, but I'll say my favorite player got to be Minka Fitzpatrick. I ain't gonna lie. Minka Fitzpatrick was because I would say that was a person that I used to watch like in high school and stuff. Like I always used to like know who Minka Fitzpatrick was for Alabama. Like not even knowing that I wanted to go to the school, but like guys like Minka, Reuben Foster, of course, and I like Devontae Smith. I ain't gonna lie. I gotta give props to him.
All right, we're gonna do some lightning round questions, and then we're gonna get you out of here.
All right.
Again, this is the first in the live interview series we're doing with student athletes at the University of Alabama. Half-hour huddle. Let's get to some quick questions here.
All right.
Favorite ice cream?
Cookies and cream.
All right. Can't go wrong with that one. What was the name of your first football peewee team?
West Miramar Panthers.
Panthers. All right. How do you maintain your wellness? Both physical and mental, spiritual, all of it.
Consistency. Always doing treatment every day, working out every day, and praying every day. A lot of times throughout the day, praying. I talk to God consistently. So
that's a good plan. We've all been there where the day gets the best of us. Do you remember a worst day of practice for you?
All right, I do have a word. I don't like to say worst day because I always try and get better 1% every day. But I do have like my moments in practice where I was like, dang, like that was a terrible day. It was a day, we weren't even in shoulder pads yet. So we just in helmets and like I don't know if the field was just wet or something, but I was slipping like a lot. And so like that, like it would be a scenario like a dude like would run past me or something like that, or like I would try and break on the ball and I would fall or slip and it would make it look like I got juked out or something like that. Like I got juked out, I got rerouted or something like that. And so, but it really wasn't that. But yeah, that probably was like a bad day. It was a real rainy day in practice. So.
All right, Dallas, we can't thank you enough. If you had a message to deliver to the Alabama fan base, to the Yea Alabama subscribers who are helping these student athletes out with NIL, what would your message be?
Roll Tide. That's the message right there. That's
been Dallas Turner. Thanks so much, Dallas. Appreciate your time.
You're welcome. I appreciate it.
And this has been half-hour huddle. I'm Aaron Suttles with Director of Content with Yea Alabama. This is the first. We're going to keep rolling these things out. Need you guys' help, though. Do me a favor. Just tell one person over the next week about Yea Alabama. Send them the link to the website. Tell them how they can support University of Alabama athletic programs. We appreciate all the questions you guys have. Hopefully you like Dallas. We started off with a big guest. As I mentioned, both figuratively and literally, Dallas's importance to the Alabama football team this year cannot be understated or overstated, rather. So we're going to keep doing these. Make sure you check out all the merch. I don't know if you can get this one, but we got Yea Alabama hats. We got Yea Alabama polos, T-shirts, you name it. Make great gifts. I hear Father's Day is coming up, and I think your dad would like one of these, or your son. And we got polos like this coming. So thank you all for your support. Keep an eye out for the invitation for the next one. Hopefully over the summer we're going to get more consistent with these. But we want to thank Dallas Turner for his time, and thank you for joining. Hoping Dallas will give us a little